And good Wednesday morning. I hope your day is well for you. We're starting this out with 53, headed for high of 71. Camera issues this morning that had to change at the last second there, trying to figure out what went wrong with one. Happens with new equipment every time you do that. Again, I hope you're doing well as we begin this day. Not a lot went on overnight last night. That's a good thing. We had a few fender benders here and there overnight, but no major crime that I'm aware of. Let's hope it stays that way as daylight breaks and we find out that everything was calm last night. I did have a couple reports of some folks racing last night. Well, they probably got a ticket out of that down by Winn-Dixie on 39. Not a great place to stretch your Mustang out. Not exactly there. Let's see, we had a couple of wrecks around town yesterday. No one major hurt. We also had the mention of a structure fire yesterday. And let's go to that picture of this and show you where this was. In the end, it ended up being only smoke. The Meridian Fire Department was on scene and worked on this. A lot of people love this church. Right off of 22nd Avenue is where this is. This is the Hawkins Memorial United Methodist Church, just a block or two off there of the highway there. Had some smoke in the basement. Most likely a homeless person got into the church and caused an issue. But it was contained. Everything worked out. So that's good news. We didn't lose any major things yesterday. The fire department done a wonderful job with that. That's good news there. Let's see here. One of the big stories, and this is everywhere across the state right now, is brush fires. And one of the lead stories of today is throughout the state of Mississippi is don't burn. As we look at the wildfire conditions from the National Weather Service, they put it at this right here, showing this. Wildfire conditions are possible. I'll show you some video footage here in a second from Jackson, Mississippi. I want to say overnight, we also had some, in the Causeyville area. Brush fires overnight in our area as well. So anything can spark these. They're extremely dry right now. Now, after the big rain moves through tomorrow, will most likely change those conditions a lot. But right now, we are in a dire strait of just bad conditions for any type of burning. So if you can, hold off. If you got a big brush pile that you want to get rid of before springtime gets here, wait, especially if you're getting ready for gardens. I know a lot of people will burn off where the garden is to make it greener. So I would just hang off, wait off a week or so. Let this rain come in and calm everything down. Also had a report last night of an 18-wheeler that overturned on 145. Equipment exit there. I believe anybody was hurt, but it overturned. Good morning to Kenny Smith, watching from Philadelphia. Glad to see you there. Miss Sylvia Stewart, how are you this morning? So Linda Cord is up from the big city of Hickory. Hope everything's well in y'all's neighborhood. Also, let's see, Robin Sullivan is up. Mary Dennis, how are you? Denise Roseman, Gary Beard, morning there. All the way from North Alabama, Linda Culpepper is up. Miss Joyce Snowden Godwin is up stirring a little bit today. Make sure y'all get your coffee. It'll make you a happier person. At least it does me. Lots to talk about today as we plan out this day and where we go and what we're going to do. We're going to talk about legislators trying to give themselves a raise, and I'm sure you heard about that convict that escaped. What went on with this? Sticky situation. There's been a lot of people laid off from their jobs, suspended because of that. Are you up to date on all that? Also, we've got a bunch of stories that are coming in from around the nation of what is going to be happening. Today is supposed to be the day that Russia makes good or backs down. There are signs that he has backed down, but they say, is it real? Russia invasion. Don't take them for their word. Always heard that about Russia, and I think you have too. We'll get into all of those stories that's coming up here this morning. Plus, before this is over, we're going to tell you about this very severe weather threat that we have coming up tomorrow. It's going to be for most of Mississippi and portions of West Alabama. Could be very, very bad. And with this is bringing some tornadic activity. And Mississippi being the highlight of this. It's still too early to say that East Central or Central Mississippi will be the worst area. But it's going to be in Mississippi. We know that. It could be just a little north of us. It could be right on top of us. And a lot of these factors just won't be decided until this air meets. But we do know that this region is in store for some severe weather. The state of Mississippi from here all the way toward the Columbus area and the state line or Tennessee. And if you're watching on that Tennessee line, have your weather alert up too. Have a weather plan because it's going to be bad. We don't want anybody hurt. Make sure to we discussed that yesterday morning of having a weather plan there of where to go to and all. You need to have that in place. That is coming tomorrow. We've got all that and so much more right around the corner. Don't rush off here. It's here at Scotty Ray's Weather. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike and Jake have years of experience of dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel. Another project that Mississippi is working on is the divorce laws. You paid attention to this, but there's basically several steps that you have to go to, and most are saying that Mississippi divorce law, what qualifies for it, is outdated, and they need to add a little bit easier laws to where a couple can get divorced instead of dragging it out and financially ruining other people. It's probably true to a degree. We'll see about this. This bill is headed. The Senate has worked on it. It's going to be heading to the House. We'll see what becomes of it. It's good for everybody, then more power to them. We hope so. And this went away kind of like no one wanted to be connected with it. I think it was it 30 senators that signed it that said that they wanted a pay raise that worked for you, the legislators? 30 of them signed up for it. Chris McDaniel brought light to it yesterday as it headed toward the Senate. Nobody wanted to talk about it, so he brought it up. McDaniel is one of those that stands his ground, and basically this is what he said. He said, the word I've used for it is embarrassing, Chris said. Politicians don't deserve a pay raise. We know what the pay is when we run for office, and I don't think the motion to reconsider delay allowed people around the state to make a phone call and send emails to push back against this. That we're going to push this through and not give you time to talk to your legislatures about it. They were going to push this through. As they started getting pushback, no one wanted to touch the piece of paper after they put it out there. Chris was bringing it to light. Where he brought it up, they didn't want to continue with it. So good job, Chris. I think a lot of people were upset over that, and he's right. When you run for office, you know what it pays. Something to consider there. Now, this is just like the hot potato, and you scratch your head and wonder, especially with people that you hire to run prisons, if there is an immediate, and this goes with anything, say a car is stolen on 8th Street. If you get that information out quick enough to the public of this car is stolen with a tag number, by the time it reaches 14th Street, 15 people could have seen the car and have the police arrive to catch the bad guy. It's just common sense of the more the public knows, the quicker things are handled. Are you up to date on this inmate? We did have an escape in the state of Mississippi, and this is how it turned out. What was this guy's name? Michael Floyd Wilson. He was captured on the coast. He escaped from prison, and you know what the prison officials did? They didn't report it. He escaped on Saturday, and he was captured on Sunday. They finally admitted on Sunday that he was missing. He had gone to 2 hospitals to have taken care of because he climbed the razor fence. Was cut up pretty bad trying to climb the fence. He had to go to the hospital to be treated. But you know what? The hospital had no idea that he was an escaped convict. He used fake names going in. They had no pictures, realizing that we had an escaped convict. There are several prison officials that have been suspended for this. You can imagine, this is, I would think, would lead to dismissal. This is too serious. This guy is a career criminal, and you don't report it. Shame on you. Those names will probably be making it to the Mississippi public before long. It's who they were and how they didn't put out their do their job. As I mentioned a moment ago, grass fires left and right across across Mississippi. Anyway, I know they got them in other areas, but Mississippi has an abundance of these right now. As I mentioned, in Causeyville before daylight, the volunteer fire department was out early trying to stomp out a fire that happened yesterday afternoon. And we go back to my Facebook page and let's just glance over this of just how bad this was. This was Jackson, Mississippi. It started at 5 o'clock. That's an exit right there. Everywhere. Firefighters were trying to put that out. I think they worked 3 to 4 or 5 hours to contain that fire. Now, I don't know the reason behind it. Was it a cigarette? Was it a brush fire? I'm unsure. But anything that you do right now, watch this. At this point, we still only have, I think, 2 counties that have a burn ban. But use a little common sense with this. That was a nasty one there in Jackson as we watch that. And expect more of this. You see it all throughout the day. You think it's a little bitty pile. And the next thing you know, it's spread. So some of the headlines that are going on with that. Let's see here as we come across some other stories this morning that are happening. This is right across the state line. But it's still, in one way, it is humorous. And then the next way, it is extremely sad. A 14-year-old has been arrested in Baton Rouge. So why would I bring up a teenager from Baton Rouge being arrested? Well, she got mad at her boyfriend. She's 14 years old. So she hired a hitman to take care of him. No, I'm not joking. 14 years old, hiring a hitman. The place that she posted the ad to hire him quickly notified police, and she was arrested. 14 years old. Where do you learn to take somebody out at 14 years old because they don't like you? You wonder what the home life is like. That is could solve so many problems in America. And I think most of us agree with that. A home life, a family, right and wrong being taught in the home leads to good decisions later in life. This is an early start for something bad. We see that. I mentioned in the notes this morning of a guy, kind of like a Barney Fife story. One bullet sends a man to jail for 11 years. How could a bullet do that? Well, it works that way if you're a convicted felon. And it states that you should not have any ammunition. He was pulled over, and it just so happened he had one bullet in his pocket. That one bullet got him 11 years. It's a Hattiesburg man, 139 months back to the pokey. He will go there. Jacob McCary, he was 21 years old, one round in his pocket. It was stated that he could not have ammunition as he was out. So he's headed back. 11 years added. Pretty rough, isn't it? You agree with that? It's still a parole violation. Whether you think does it matter if it was one bullet or 20? You know, the law does not state that. It just says ammunition, and one round counts as ammunition. How do you feel about that? Think that's a good decision? Get them off the street? Something to think on. In other news this morning across the state of Mississippi, our second case of this, pretty serious here, West Nile disease. You don't hear much about West Nile. Remember when we were hearing about those mosquitoes left and right? Maybe they've got COVID. I don't know, and I jokingly say that. But we have had our second case in the state of Mississippi recognized, Hinds County again. I certainly hope that is not something that we see a lot of come spring. I know what your next thoughts are of, well, it hadn't been cold enough to kill the skeeters this year. And that's true. We haven't had any major cold snaps. We've had some nighttime lows that were chilly, but none that were just devastating. We'll watch that one. As we go to our next story this morning, a Diamond Head city councilman has been arrested for simple assault. Usually doesn't go well for you if you're a city councilman and arrested for anything, no matter how big, how small it is, but he's been arrested. Alan Morin, 34 years old. He was arrested on Valentine's Day. Misdemeanor charges of simple assault resulting in bodily injury contributing to the delinquency of a child. More to come on that story as we look at that. And as we go across the state line, and I don't know how you feel about this, and I ask, how do you feel about it? Birmingham folks, and this would affect Mississippi. This actually was in Birmingham, Alabama, but things like this will also happen in the state or no matter where you're watching from Tennessee, anywhere. But a police chase broke out. The police were after a suspect. He wrecks and hits 5 cars. They sue the people that were hit because the police were chasing. A judge has awarded those 5 people $3.2 million in damages. How do you feel about that? Is it right to be able to sue if the police are trying to catch a bad guy and he wrecks? Is it the police's fault because they were following him that cash should be awarded? And your first thought is, well, he's the bad guy. He's the one that should be sued. Of course, he's not going to have insurance. They never do. Like you remember the home that was ran through in Philadelphia? That guy didn't have a lick of insurance that hit that young man that was 13 years old. But is it the police's fault that they run from them? They're trying to do their job and capture people that are bad. Should they be held liable for things like this? It does make you wonder. That's a headline there across Alabama this morning. The family of Bob Saget, if you're keeping up with all of this, they're asking the courts to stop releasing information about Bob. As we find out more and more, he had a large hit on his head. And they filed the injunction. I agree with them on this. They do not want pictures released of Bob. His wife does not. Who would? And that's scattered all over the media, autopsy pictures, trying to stop that before it happens. They say they don't mind the verbal comments being talked about, but no pictures and video that was involved in the case. And you have to agree with the family on that. You wouldn't want your loved one autopsy pictures smeared across the United States. Like the basketball player. He crashed. That was not good. Chris Como, why did CNN fire him? Well, you dig deeper into this. The first thing that they got him, and they didn't go any further, was back in 2011. He made sexual advances at a woman. In order to make her happy, it was a payoff. He gave her a great review on television. I'll take care of your business if you drop this. She did, and he did that, and they saw that and got rid of him. More and more, the second person has been relieved at CNN over this. The president, the lady that he was having the affair with, is now gone. We dig deeper into this stuff with Trump. Are y'all up on all of this? And Hillary? Ooh, this is getting deep now. The regular media are not saying anything about it. You've got Newsmax, and I think you've got Fox News reporting it. But outside of that, Hillary, all of this hiring to dig and plant stuff on Trump, it's not being talked about nationwide. You know there's a reason for that. They love Hillary. They don't want you to know. Read about it today. I'll post some links on the page where you can read more in depth on all of this. It is serious. I do look at it as treason. You may or may not, but you don't plant things on someone running for president or even after they get in office to try to frame them. A president, someone running against them, done this. This has been done before. This is not the first time. Y'all know that. It's just one of the first times that someone's been caught red-handed with their hand in the cookie jar, and the media does not want to talk about it. Imagine that. Worries me, and it should worry you as well, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, or you're just down the middle. You don't pick either side. You just go vote for who you think the person is right. We cannot have this in the United States. We cannot. Something needs to be done, an example made. Will it? I'm like you. I'm worried that nothing will be done. If you've got the media not wanting to talk about it, what are the odds are that people in the judicial system will do anything about it? Small thoughts this morning, but that's what's going on across the nation. Hang close. We're going to get into your weather here in just a second. 53 as you're waking up. We're going to tell you all about this weather that is threatening us coming up next here. Don't rush off. We'll tell you more about it here in just a moment. The back porch of Meridian is now open on Highway 19. Anything outdoors. Grills, fryers, pellets. And all grills come with free assembly. Whether you're looking for a cooler or custom woodwork. Plus local beef, milk and ice cream from Beeson, products from Cyples Mills, spices, and a whole lot more. And don't forget to check out the She Shed, where you'll find authentic Louis Vuitton purses and more. And we can't leave out the spoon fudge. The back porch, Highway 19 North Meridian. And for whatever reason, I keep hearing that fudge they got there is a favorite of folks, if you're into the fudge kind of thing. Good morning to you. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and welcome to the Scotty Ray Report, where each day we tell you what happened in and around in our area overnight, what's happening in the state and what's going to happen in our nation. And well, now it's time to move on to important things that you really want to know about today. What's going to happen tomorrow with the weather? We're going to get into all of this. We'll look at radar and let you know what to expect. Right now, as I said, 53 is your waking up. Not too bad. We've had some very cold mornings in the past, but not too bad right now. As we look back, it was 1995 that we set a record high of 82 on this date. Record low was back last year. This was during the ice storm. Someone pointed it out yesterday. I had forgotten all about the ice storm. We went without power and water. Y'all remember that? It was 14 degrees 1 year ago on this date. Major change, isn't it? We do have this bad weather coming. As we look at today, it's going to be cloudy, high of 71 throughout Lauderdale County as we go into Clark, Quitman, and those areas the same. We go northward through Philadelphia all the way up to Columbus, about 70 in there. Mississippi State should see 70 as well as those areas around Louisville. As we move west over to the Big Bridge, 75 at Vicksburg, down to Brookhaven, 73. Natchez as well there on the Mississippi River should see 75 and even warmer along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. As we move into Alabama, we see that Demopolis will see 73. We'll see right at 71 right around Livingston, Alabama, and across the county of Sumter County, all through there. Hamilton, 69. As we go southward there, Selma, y'all see 74, and Montgomery about 74 also, and Alabama. Now, let's move into what is going to be happening. As we mentioned, wildfire conditions are just not great today. Don't burn. Precautions. Heed local burn bans. We only got 2 that I'm aware of, and it could have changed overnight if I hadn't been made aware of it, but 2 so far. But this is a huge threat. Don't burn. We see wildfires burning in Jackson. We've got them we've lost probably 60, 80 acres here locally of fires. Even lost a camper in the last week due to a small fire. So don't do it today. All right, let's move into what we're expected tomorrow. This is what's going to happen tonight. It's going to be to the west of us. And then tomorrow, it will be here. We got a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, 20% chance. Here's what we're looking at on the timing as we look at all of this in the breakdown. On the western side, from Jackson back through Vicksburg into Louisiana from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., we're looking at anywhere locally from Jackson, Mississippi, east across the state, northward and southward into Alabama, being from noon until 6 p.m., up to that state line, anytime from noon onward is what we've got there. We're at a level 2 on this, and everything you read puts the most tornadic activity right here in our area for tomorrow. Now, what we don't know, and as I pull this up, let me come back over here and let's just grab this. Because what we don't know, and you won't know until the storm actually gets here, as to just how bad it will be and how the winds and everything meet. But all across the state, let's pull this up where we can see this. We do know that this area right through here is the greatest risk of tornadic activity. It could be just north of us, the Macon area right through here, moving into North Mississippi, but it could start coming here and then moving from there westward into Tennessee in these areas here. This is the direction we're expecting. We've got a lot to learn as it approaches, and we'll be on that. But we are at a high alert for tornadic activity. They can strike with little or no warning. We'll be here to give you street-by-street information on this. And make sure to be here. Check back often. I'll give updates, and we will go live street-by-street as this approaches to let you know. Now, let's look at this Alabama side of what we've got lined up for tomorrow. Alabama throwing this on the eastern side there, the western side of Alabama there, from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. is what they're going to layer it at. The west side of Mississippi, as it gets to Jackson, begins at noon, anywhere from there. So let's give this, if you're watching me and the local, if you border the states, anywhere from noon until 8 p.m. It can be. This could be a fast-moving storm and be out quicker. We'll know more tomorrow as it begins here. But again, our big threat is we know that it's going to be serious. Have a weather plan. If you live in a mobile home, know where you are going. Do not stay. Now, again, I stress that's not making fun of anybody. I know a lot of people do the jokes on television about trailer park. There's nothing wrong with living in a mobile home. But be aware the wind can get underneath them, pick them up and slam them, and, well, it can kill you. And we want you to be absolutely as safe as possible. This can happen in a brick home, too. We've all known that. Storm shelters are the best place to go. If you're in a home, make sure to go to that center wall away from windows. Don't be around them. And do not raise the windows. All right, this is that severe weather outbreak as we look at this, that northern part of the state, about 3. That's another angle of this. But again, anywhere from noon onward. Now, what about the winds tomorrow? Look at this. It's going to be pretty serious here. Severe winds, most likely worse at Kemper, as we were saying that this could be just barely north of us, of the tornadic activity. It could be, but we're still all in this area watching this. Anywhere in here, if you see your home, your county that you live in, be aware of tomorrow and what it could bring. I'll be here to walk you through it, though, step by step. And we look at this, all this orange area, Kemper County, Philadelphia, portions of Neshoba County, as we go across into Leake, we're looking at gusts of up to 50 miles an hour and sustained winds anywhere from 25 to 30. Now, that alone will cause damage. You don't even have to have a tornado with stuff like that. It's going to be taking away garbage cans, swing sets, anything that you've got outside. Be careful. We want you to be aware of it. Now, as we look at our temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days, let's pull that up. Here we are, above average here in Mississippi. We are. Normal back out here, cooler on the west coast. Way above up this eastern coast as this storm will make its way right up through here. That's what's going to be happening. Let's move forward and look at our temperatures for today and the next 7 days of what we have to expect here. Today, our high again will be 71, cloudy for the most part. We do get a 20% chance of a shower late this afternoon, gust of about 25 miles an hour mixed in with this. That's why you don't want to burn. We move into tonight. Low of 58 tomorrow. We get 74 with this bad weather moving in, and then from 74 to 36. That's pretty drastic. Look at the changes today, 71 to 60. Not much, but tomorrow, 74 to 36. Friday, a high of 52, cooler with temperatures dipping below freezing on Friday night. 61, 67 on Sunday. It'll be a gorgeous day. Slight chance of rain there on Monday. A 60% chance we'll begin the week with some rain. As we move on in, what's that, 76 on the 23rd? Let's hope that doesn't bring more bad weather. We'll watch that also. 60s level out the rest of February as we head toward the end of the month to bring you March. What do they say, March showers? No, it's April showers. Yeah, I was a month ahead. We're not out of winter yet, are we? I'm trying to remember. And that's a quick look at what we've got with the weather. Be weather alert tomorrow. Again, I'll be here. Share it. Make sure others know about this. And we give you locations so that you can compare where I live to where the storm is. Not a lot of people quite understand, and it's no problem with that. When they hear such and such county in the northeast corner, you go, well, I don't know where that is. We're going to make that a little bit easier by telling you things that you recognize. Next to this building, next to the 3-foot building, we'll let you know locations to where you can visualize it. That's the way I have to have things. I'm sure a lot of you are like me. You like to know where things are before it gets you. Thank y'all for dropping by. Candace is getting ready. We'll be here kicking things off for that morning show beginning at 8 a.m. Don't miss it. It'll be the biggest talk of the town, and we want you to be a part of it right here. Scotty Ray's Weather, the Scotty Ray Report. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you back soon in just a few moments.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by